my gosh, Shina, hold on. Did you just find the special edition of Endless Ocean?
Yes, it's called the ripped apart version.
I thought it was the Ozempic version.
What happened? It's not endless anymore. It's not endless.
What's been happening on Amazon support today?
Just unhappy people, constantly. People just telling me they don't like me. 1-star reviews, 2-star reviews. It's a lot of sadness.
On other people's stores, but never our store, which is always 5 stars.
Always, yep.
All right, this is the currently listed stack of our top lister here, Ryan. Ryan, on an average week, how many games are you listing on Amazon?
I list between like 1,000, 1,300, 1,400 in a good week.
He just broke the record for like the most units listed in 1 week. Last week, and let me tell you, the previous 3 weeks he's broken that record over and over and over again, and he's also on track this week to break it again. So.
Shattering records. This is the Michael Jordan of Amazon listing with a bat. The Michael Jordan in his baseball era.
His baseball era. Hopefully I do better than Jordan did.
He's gonna retire in 2 years. All right, team, here's the question of the day. Are you guys ready? We're gonna do something that I haven't done in a while, which is dive into the cesspool of the comments section. Which actually has been pretty dang positive recently, I would say. But there was a question that someone asked, or a topic that someone raised of, is it wrong to poach a game store's employees? I think it came up because I've now hired not 1, but 2 former game store managers. And I was just curious to get you guys' thoughts on it. While you're thinking, by the way, folks, put your questions about this business below, because in future vlogs we may tackle some hot topics that you guys ask about. But Shina, what do you think?
It's not like Caleb showed up at my job and was like, you should work at Quick Flips. So honestly, I don't think that you guys know if you guys haven't worked in a video game store. It's just like all retail businesses. A lot of us are unfortunately underpaid, even though it is like our source of living. And not only that, there's like extra added stress and responsibilities that, you know, like you would love to say like, oh, I don't want to be part of it, but unfortunately you have to be part of it. And then since joining this job, I'm a lot happier. So I mean, it's been a lot more relaxing, not just because there's no customers, but everything's a lot more organized. Caleb's a great boss, and he actually knows how to, you know, make your process a lot better and easier. So there's just a lot here that a lot of video game stores, especially me being a district manager, we were lacking just because we didn't have people like Caleb, essentially, that kind of know what they're doing, and it's thinking more about the business, not the money aspect.
Just ignore the fact that I'm quite literally paying her to say that.
That's not
What about you, Logan? You have any thoughts?
I think it's perfectly fine to poach people from other stores, especially when the other stores don't treat their employees the best.
And you should say that he didn't poach you.
Oh yeah, no, Shina poached me.
I
Caleb did
poached.
not.
He was one of my managers in one of the stores I were managing, and I was like, I need to rescue this guy because he is too good.
Shina came in and I asked her, I was like, we're growing fast. Is there anybody that you've ever worked with in the past that like we need to get on the team? And she was like, one guy for sure. This one right here.
Yeah.
First one out of her mouth. And look, here you are.
Yay.
Yeah, and Caleb did not just, like I said, show up. He actually, we were planning to do like a video, right?
Because essentially a big part of your job was taking game stores that were maybe struggling,
Right,
and leveling them up. And I was like, that's actually a really fascinating idea for a video. But before we ended up being able to shoot it,
this happened.
you spontaneously showed up in my basement. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he honestly kept trying to make the video, and I was like, oh, our boss is coming later. Then more stress happened because he's like, this is wrong, and I want it like this, and I'm like, wow. And it was crazy. He's like, you're fired. I'm like, ah. So that just never ended up happening. And one day he just said, hey, you know, our business is growing. I would love to talk to you about it. He literally didn't say like, you should come here. He literally said, I would love to talk about it because I know you're thriving in your company right now. And I was like, honestly, I might have to. Not just because he's Phoenix Resell, but because his business is growing from, I'm sure a lot of you guys have been following him before, like quick flips before 1-up. Like, it's just growing so well, and I'm like, I would love to be part of this. So
I'm gonna have to cut some of this flattery. It's not gonna go over well. Callie, you work here part-time. One of your other part-time jobs is working at a Lego store. Has anyone
Lego
ever
resale store.
a Lego resale store? Has anyone ever tried to poach you from that job?
No, I like my job there too much.
Yeah.
really
Yeah, I love it. I love working with the people there.
to the dungeon.
I love Lego. Okay.
Even though it's retail, you don't mind it?
Yeah, I like. There's a lot of kids there, and they say really funny things, and that keeps the job entertaining. there's like one time, this one kid, I was like, the dad was trying to convince his son to like save some money, like for next week you can buy something bigger, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And the kid looks at me and goes, I'm just not that kind of guy. And it's like, you're 8. What are you talking about?
This is, unfortunately, Callie's very last week with us before she moves back to Georgia. She got voted off the island. She's apparently the least popular employee here, so how does that feel?
I'm so sad.
One of the best parts about working with Callie, aside from being a valued team member who just got voted off the island, is she is our resident brain rot specialist. So I just had a question for you. What is mewing?
I'll just show you. Ready? See my glasses?
Dude, that is such a Giga Chad. Like, how do you know? How do you do that?
It's like just look.
Here's my completely unbiased opinion on the topic. I think if you have a problem with poaching a game store employee or making a job offer to someone who already has a job, then I think you would also have to have a problem with the entire field of recruiting because there's an entire industry designed around finding high quality talent within your own space, your own niche. I don't think that's a wrong thing to do. In fact, I would actually say that it's a very I don't know, how would you say it? Like, it's really good for people who have jobs to be able to have job mobility and pursue opportunities that they think is better. And that's actually something that I'm really proud of, but
It's also good motivation for employers to do better because you don't want to lose your best employees to someone else who treats them better.
Mic drop.
also, no heat to game stores specifically. Retail in general is known for, because it's so high overhead and often low margin, traditionally those jobs don't pay the best. And the more competition there is for that workforce, the more it sort of raises the overall standard of what you have to pay people in order to compete for the best talent locally.
It's also funny because if you were looking for someone who would be a perfect fit and you come across them and they're like, hey, I'd like to come work for you, and you go, no, that's okay, you'd be a perfect fit, but you already have a job, leave me alone. That makes no sense.
Dang, meanwhile, Logan's over here building a literal wall of games. Anything cool in this stack?
Nothing. We do got some cool N64 stuff. We got Super Mario 64, both of the Zeldas for the 64, and we got some Mario Kart going on. So not bad.
Is there any like lingering resentment between you and Shina? Is that why you're trying to wall her off here?
Oh yeah, 100%. A lot of resentment towards China.
Yeah.
I knew it.
No, I'm just joking.
I guess you could call this the Great Wall Off Shina. Also, on that topic, while we're talking about comments, how do you feel that someone called you so Filipino?
Am I so Filipino? That's how Filipinos are, man. They're always happy. They love people and they love working. I don't know.
That's a pretty great thing for a culture to be known for. Always happy and loves working.
Yeah, they're always just happy.
On an unrelated note, do you have any like siblings that need a job? A little bit of a parting gift for you.
Oh.
It's a little thank you for all the many, many games you've cleaned for us.
Show.
I think there are only 5 of those in the world. We may eventually make... You're welcome. Thanks for being a part of the team. All right, folks, here is the Encore update for the week. This is all stuff that Logan just listed yesterday, I think. A ton of complete in box, like, as you can see, first party stuff, Duck Hunt, Tetris, a lot of absolute classics, Carnage, a lot of 100 disc only games is up there right now. These are all, the way that we do all of our auctions is everything starts at $1 and it goes for up to 1 week, but at this point we're gonna start having our auctions end twice a week. So every like Wednesday night and Sunday night, all of our auctions will end and we'll ship everything out the next morning to get sort of a bi-weekly rhythm going. But Logan, what were some of the best sales from this last batch?
The new Nintendo 3DS Pikachu Yellow did really well. I think we did like 700 on that.
Yep.
And the Pokemon Heart Gold box with the Pokewalker also did really well. And that didn't even have the game with it.
Right. Yeah, that was a really solid sale. All the stuff here, I think, ends on Thursday night. If you guys are interested in any of it, definitely some solid stuff there. The other thing that I wanted to mention that I almost forgot is that we are currently running a promo. The reason that the handhelds are all stacking up over here is that the month of May for us at Quick Flips is handheld heaven. So we are giving bonuses, not bonuses, but we raised our prices on a ton of different handheld models, some DSIs, some XLs, but mostly on like 3DSs and 2DSs and 3DS XLs. Our prices are going up oftentimes between like $10 a piece. And I think the highest one for like some special editions was $50. So if you have any handhelds that are in solid condition that you're sitting on, now is definitely the time to sell those, and we are just now starting to see a pretty solid uptick in the amount of handheld submissions. Oh, and I almost forgot to say, this weekend I'm going to be in Kansas City at the grand opening of the Nerd Nation video game store. Should be an absolute blast if you guys are in the Kansas City area. So pull up if you are around. It should be a really awesome event.